I thought I would make this tape about the secret history of World War III, which is copyright James McRowling Crary, May 2022. Copywritten Matt Crary, like all of my online work. Today's mission is to clue you in as to what is really going on, if you don't already know. World War III is the story of Gail Carolyn Burston, emissary for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth of England. She wrote a script back in the 70s to explain King Crimson and their noxious storyline of Elizabethan theater that marks such things as the Beatles' White Album's involvement as a production studio in advance promotion by the murders of Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King. We know quite a bit from the script about what went on in Her Majesty's government among the Moon children of Adolf Hitler's friend King Edward. From the fact that a look-alike of Gail Carolyn Burston appears on Robert Fripp's God Save the Queen. Ian MacDonald, also of this noxious band, King Crimson, lived in the Dakota with John Lennon and Boris Karloff, Hollywood's master of Frankenstein operations, which is what this one was. Whether they knifed him in the back, that Lennon asshole, the way they knifed Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King, or whether he pulled a double fantasy and stepped out, is a matter for um, debate based on the evidence. I see him as having been the master planner and lent his voice and agreed to step out. Frank Herbert has a line in Children of Dune where Leto takes on Krassilek, the Typhoon struggle, and his sister says he was the stronger of the two of us and one of us had to do it. I think Frank Herbert was in the loop, and these comments are fluxus, meaning they repeat themes that taken into a new context explain the new context. And these wizards of war, Robert Fripp is a general in the secret history of the Third World War, who believes he has emanations from the fourth dimension. So Fluxus is the revelation of the puppet master from the fourth dimension, the gurus who can tap into the sacred Ouspensky circle. So, what are they up to, and what is the meaning of this? Well, Robert Fripp, Flippy Toon, as you might know him, gyrates in one of his pin-headed missives that when artist buys lunch for the production company, things are changing. But what he's getting at is a sub-content, subliminal message that when America cheers Tojo, General Tojo of the Japanese over FDR, you know that King Edward's moon children have taken revenge for the Axis. And he scribbles on one of his records, acknowledgement to DT. He's always ripping people off. He ripped me off. He ripped Bella Bartok off. He ripped Dylan Thomas off. And he ripped off Clemente. He used Clemente's name for something evil. Roberto Clemente. He used his name for despicable Green Party death squad culture. And behind this, you know, of course, is the croquet Register Corona, Yoko Ono. The symbol of Putin's involvement in the secret history of the Third World War is that Camilla fell into fourth place and the Japanese woman won the third position in the Beijing Olympics. Clever Ono. So, what did they do and how is it proceeding? Well, the idea was my father could be heard off the coast of Japan as a naval lieutenant, radio room lieutenant in World War II for the Navy. So they followed his voice. I have it in exhibits. The police refused to review. The FBI refused to review because it was Hitler Reagan's. Reagan was an understudy of the people who, like Walt Disney, who helped discover Adolf Hitler and promote him as a Disney villain. The idea was to hold a little boy responsible for what Yoko Ono says is a crime as bad as Dachau and Auschwitz, which was Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it's a war crimes adventure. And how they proceeded and what they're up to in the script was they made mention of Nabucco and her stupid code of what girls should do and boys should do. You see, they're authoring an end to Roe versus Wade with COVID and the AIDS attack. And of course, they have stupids cheering them because they're the Beatles on Mount Olympus with Noam Chomsky, the wizard of the Ouspensky Circle and the Fourth Way Intelligence Squad. Nabucco and a stupid code about what boys should do and girls should do is abstain until you're married and only do it with one person for children. Okay. And they went into the pornographic system. As they put it, they hid something dirty somewhere dirty. I have that in their clips from Subikondika. And they used the sea and the Star of David for pornographic genocide symbolism. And they've said that if you try to take copyright, they will inject you with HIV. So they have it all thought out. Now, I came across the name Mitch and Zell on Mount Desert Island, Mitch Hawkman. I had a character in the Hell Odyssey named Mitch Hawk. He was a Jewish warlord from Ryan's Pizza who had lots of Grateful Dead stuff around. And they mangaed up a girl with a tattoo of the Grim Reaper pointing a vagina and needle tracks. And Zell made, Earth First cleansing agent satire of their war game, which, while promoting Joseph Goebbels as a law firm agent for the Jewish Defense League, who Gail Burstyn's partner, Leslie Katz, the Gail and Leslie Alliance, said they were defending themselves from me, who had done nothing to any of them except maybe go necking with them when they wanted to, which was against Nabucco's stupid code of what boys should do and girls should do. A girl named Elizabeth Blumenfeld was backing them financially with Bloomberg. You have a satrapi on Mount Desert Island of Mitch and Zell, which is, of course, we've heard that Mitch McConnell met with Zelensky. So, but Putin's in no position to say he isn't in on this. Now, why would they confiscate two sides in a battle where a parameter comes out and thaws lanes? He was a major general. It's War of the World. And he says that the human spirit is only at peace at war. We're standing up for its spiritual values. And that's why Kennedy was a flimsy. So we got the idea from this hocus pocus. Now, a few more issues failed to escape notice. For example, how is Gwiener occupying the issue? Well, she has a New York dandy system who own the Kremlin in New York City, like Harper's Magazine, named Louis Laffin, who worked with John Schulman on spreading lies about me. It's simple. Everybody knows that. Everybody who knows me knows their lies about me and went along with it because they thought it was funny. That's Pittsburgh's style. Well, he talked about priceless forgeries while he was helping John Schulman pilfer books. What did they do to me? They kidnapped me and tortured me. They took me to a place called King's Heavenly Estate and gassed me while writing to me from children of Holocaust survivors. Gassed me in a place called King's Estate. Gassed me while writing to me from Israelis. And who allowed the people who were behind the kidnapping, torture, sadistic horror show of a Holocaust simulation experiment? I crawled up in the top shelf of my closet to hide. And they said, don't say like Anne Frank. Oh, the boogie monster is culturally misappropriated by the very system of cultural education, special education, they called it, that was deployed to kidnap, torture, and gas him. Oh, that's a no-no. You really have to admire Yoko Ono for getting these horrid bullies with their murder show from Black Gangster Rock in LA to be that sadistic and intimidating through what? A college ROTC program. UW Dialectical. So low, they think they're on high. So what did this amount to? Well, Gleaner says, well, we want to know, did you pick your blackheads the morning after you vomited out of the window because Andrea Swimmer told you to? Did you give Jeff Weiner fat lip, therefore we get to poison you in the mouth with a tulip poison? Never mind that Jeff Weiner was coming at me with scissors after the school he represented humiliated my mother. Never mind that. Andrew Swimmer drove off after grown men subjected me to slaughtering blows when she and her concierge, Mary Ellen Tunney, were supposed to be watching and protecting me while my mother was out of town. Never mind any of that. Gleaner wants the state of Pennsylvania and has the state of Pennsylvania so blackmailed that they virtually deny that it is illegal for adults to render a child comatose and traumatized for the purposes of getting them to drink a pint or a gallon of Mogen David 2020 at the age of 12 or 13 years old after torturing them. The state of Pennsylvania says, well, that's the nature of reality, man. And they have a dude working with Schulman and Louis Lapham writing speeches for Donald Trump, who probably has books that got pilfered from the Carnegie, which he Gorbanoffard to Israel's Museums of Secrecy and Beth Blumenfeld's Secret Safe with Michael Todd. That's what's really going on. They torture and poison somebody and they want to drill into the head. This Greg Carl talks about the dialectic being established at the outset of the music, like in Crimson, paranoia and poison. So they want the NASA Trump, the fact that the fourth way intelligence system has NASA actually that can bark directly into the brain. So they can say it's paranoid, schizophrenia. That's their Trump. So you have Penis Gabriel mongering this stuff for Queen Elizabeth from on high, ultra high intelligence, it's called, the Ouspensky Circle. And where does this lead is to the idea that they are playing switchboard with pleasure and pain as an override of the Golem's moral capacity to understand what's happened. Concentrate on the pleasure, not on the pain, they say in Devil and Mrs. Jones. And of course, the state of Pennsylvania doesn't care that a traumatized, kidnapped, tortured, grossly vomiting, intoxicated, battered overdosed apostrophe D, overdosed, purposefully poisoned, in other words. Grade school child who disappeared after going to the office to tell Dr. Marshall they were going to kill me. She laughed, kicked him out, and didn't report my absence for a month. Took this child to see films like Devil and Mrs. Jones, which has an 18-year-old limitation, just as you have to be 21 to drink in the state of Pennsylvania. This was all done to a 12-year-old, battering, intoxicating. And Gweener wants to ferret out that he was like Lennon. He was pretending he was not. He was a copycat. He was an imitator. He was an impersonator. And then our puppet show was greater intelligence and loyalty is due to the Tojo Ronin because we fund black gangsters and protect them when they murder people as insiders in a bank, like they murdered Cersei Kennedy and so on. And the way they tortured me was absolutely horrible. Clinton and Obama allowed the Jeffin Corporation to use neurohypnosis on an impact on neuroplasm. And who implanted it was a dude named Wattenmaker. Great watts of electricity is in nuclear energy. So you see the War College from Israel, Wattenmaker, like Frankenstein. Wattenmaker was psychiatric director of intelligence for Attica State Prison. That's how comical the idea that these people were somehow liberators. Behind the scenes, they're working with a network of Bush CIA intellectuals allied to the Axis who openly take credit for the Kennedy assassinations. Say they're avenging JFK by murdering Searcy because John Lennon is dead. That's what they're saying. They're avenging JFK by murdering Searcy because John Lennon is dead. It's on Bob Dylan's song, which he released about the Kennedy assassination when they released COVID. And so it's a gross show game and sleight of hand of lies from typical liars, the Axis Confederacy of Trumpington. So when you got that straight, you see that what's going on is in reality that um, this idea that somehow they're allied to Vishnu, Ouspensky, because of a one night stand and the black man gets the Japanese symbol of life and stuff. It's a pussyball system that's encrypted. It's in the Telltale Clip 2 and Alias Little Boy YouTube channel. You can see what Ringo Starkey did with like his own Mesmer, the way he used Gail Burston on the cover of Flippy Tunes record. It's all encrypted in this way for this Vishnu outfit of sex is immoral from the fourth way intelligence. And of course, Mick Jagger's pimping all this stuff. It's a laugh from the Brando crowd. But they get people, oh. And they play this really Monty Python Eternal Peril weirdo with Licky Chops black people who made pornography of me as this genocide cult over this Flippy Tune postcard that says never pass the tape over to be heard past the copy. And if you take it, it's a gratuity from the people who you self secretly are loyal to. But if you don't take it, it shows that you understand it itself is a copy. So you're endorsing Ouspensky. Neat. Bullshit. What we're talking about is a group of people in an intelligence circle who launched the Ukraine war from both directions to spiritually cleanse us. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to force us to pick sides in a foreign affair. So that they can transplant us back to soldiers of pretty boy Trumpy tune.